Hello, Pastor Brian here. Welcome to this week's MidWay, the middle of the week e-newsletter for LifeWay Community Church. I'm actually coming to you from my office. If you ever wonder what my office looks like, this is it. It's pretty wild, I know. It's probably everything you thought it was. A bunch of shelves with books and that's it. Very neutral tones. Anyhow, but this is my office, so welcome to my office. This week, it's the beginning of December. We got a lot going on in December. But I wanted to talk to you real quick about what we just wrapped up from November. November was a great month. We looked at four big questions that we need to answer as a church if we hope to reach our community. The first one was, why do they need God? And we talked about the big transcendent truths, God is the thing that binds everything together. He provides the big picture of life. We talked about his immanence. That means his closeness. The second week, when we answered the second question, why do they need our God? Our God isn't just a big God out there somewhere that we don't know. We have this knowable God, this God that draws close to us and knows everything about us. And we can be attached, we can be in a relationship with this God. In fact, we looked at how both the immanence and the transcendence provides the basis for modern science, and it always has. If you look historically going back over the last 500 years, it's actually this belief in the transcendence of God and the immanence, that God is both dependable and big and provides the laws of nature, but he's also knowable. So we can know these laws of nature, know his creation. That's actually the basis of modern science. And that's why we can have the scientific method that is repeatable and all that. But I digress. You may know me. This is what I do, a little rabbit trail here. Anyhow, but that's what we need this God, not just for spirituality, but for everyday life. And we talked about why do they need the church, God's big grand church. And we look at how the church, throughout all history, has provided hope. That this is not how life is supposed to be. This is not the way the world has to be. And that tomorrow can be better than today. And that one day, God will come and he will heal this place. That's the big message of the church throughout all history. But then we had to ask the fourth big question. I did this on Sunday. Why do they need our church? We're in a unique place that a lot of churches in America find themselves, and a lot of churches in our situation are just closing down. They cannot sustain themselves. So the question is, why do people need our church? Because we're in this inner suburban ring. We're not close to a lot of poverty, but we're also not close to all the trendy growth in an urban area. Why do they need our church? Well, as we look at our community, what we see is just a lot of relational trouble. We see that marriages do not seem to last in this inner suburban ring. We see that right here in our area, less than half of the kids born have a father in the home of any sort, not a father figure is not in the home, not even just the actual father, but someone who can play that role. We see domestic violence, according to Lansing Police Chief, has skyrocketed here. We see all sorts of issues with relationships, and we see division. And over the last 5 years, this has become a very divisive sort of place to live based on politics and race and marriage. And there's so many different reasons. Relationships don't seem to work in this place. So what is the greatest hope our church can bring here? It's healthy relationships, how to have healthy relationships. Now, that is not to say our church it has the perfect relationships and we've had all the answers, but we can become a place where healthy relationships can flourish, that we can grow together, that we can come and be a part of just knowing what does it mean to have a healthy relationship. We talked about this in terms of shalom, that God wants this shalom for his creation, this sense of peace. But this peace isn't just any old peace like, I can relax. It's about healthy relationships. Actually, the idea of shalom, it's relationships with God and with ourselves and with other people and the whole world around us. What does it mean to have these healthy relationships? And the relationships that aren't at the expense of one another, but the relationships that are for the sake of one another, that enable one another to flourish. What does this look like? What does this mean for the marriages here, for the families here, for the politics here? What does this mean for our community? That's the greatest hope that we can offer to our community, is healthy relationships and knowing how to have those. And so that's the focus that we're going to take as a church. We're going to focus on healthy relationships. What does it mean to be a church that believes in shalom and helps us build that here now, that tomorrow's relationships can be better than today? So that's what we're going to focus on, especially as we go into 2022. You're going to hear a lot about this. But these four questions are the things we had to answer in order to reach our community. So as we move into December, we're excited. Christmas is a few weeks away, and there's a big buildup as we go. And my sermon series is going to be Lies in the Manger, looking at how we sometimes have these cultural expectations and these attitudes that we put on Jesus that he doesn't deserve. So what are some of these things that we say that perhaps aren't actually healthy in a way to view Christ? The first thing we're going to look at for this next week is the idea that everything happens for a reason. We don't see that in the Bible anywhere, but a lot of Christians say that. Is that true? Is that perhaps not exactly 100% accurate? And what does that mean for our Christian witness when we say those things? So, we got a lot of life groups going on right now. I hope you are meeting with your life group. If you're not in a group, contact our church office and we'll get you into a group. There's all sorts of things that will be happening socially wise through this month. We have, a Christmas coffee. We have a family Christmas party coming up following our Christmas pageant. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I hope that you're staying connected. I hope that you know what's going on. If you don't, check out our weekly bulletin, call the church office, do something to get yourself invested here, because this is a great time of year to really connect with your church family. Well, until I see you Sunday, Lord willing, see you on Sunday, you have a great week, a blessed week. And hopefully, as I said, Lord willing, I'll see you then. Have a great week.